The weather is heated up here in Portland, Oregon this weekend, just in time for a pivotal series to determine WCC tournament seeding as the Portland Pilots host the Santa Clara Broncos. Welcome to Joe Etzel Field for the final home series of the season. I'm Brian Slack, and I've got your call for the series opener today. Both of these teams sit tied for third place in the West Coast Conference with 2 weekends left. It's going to be Santa Clara who brings the arms this weekend. Portland's bringing the bats, and we should have a fun series for all of us. Take a look at some of the standings around the West Coast Conference right now. Loyola Marymount sits in the 1 spot, but there's a tight race for the pivotal 2nd seed that'll get you a bye in the West Coast Conference tournament between San Diego, Santa Clara, and Portland, all vying for that spot. Of course, Santa Clara and Portland tied right now for 3rd in the conference, and winner of this series will set themselves up nicely going forward. On the mound today for the Portland Pilots, it's going to be right-hand pitcher Nick Brink. The redshirt sophomore from Cleveland High School will be making his 7th start of the season, 12th appearance. He has a 3-0 record through 38 innings. He's only allowed 34 hits, 8 earned runs, 37 strikeouts to 12 walks. Opponents are hitting .230 against him, and the all-important earned run average is only at 1.89. He's done a good job of keeping the runs off the scoreboard when he's on the mound. Let's get you the lineup for the Santa Clara Broncos for this series opener. Batting first out in right field, Michael O'Hara. Dawson Brigman will be batting second over at second base. Efren Manzo, the first baseman, will be batting third. Coleman Brigman, the center fielder, bats cleanup, followed by Malcolm Williams. Iman Lance is the DH batting sixth. John Baring out in the left field bats seventh. Thomas Ferragero is the third baseman batting eighth. And then Ben Steck, the catcher behind the plate for the Broncos today, will round out the bottom of the lineup as Brink delivers a first pitch strike. It's 0-1. Portland wearing their black uniforms that they broke out this year, and there's a single up the middle by Michael O'Hara. Leadoff man is aboard for the Broncos. As I was saying, though, Portland wearing their black uniforms, white pinstripes with Portland in purple script across the chest. Meanwhile, Santa Clara in their gray uniforms with that Santa Clara red soutache down the side, SC on their left pec. 85 degrees here at the ballpark today. Sunny with 6-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, looking at the flag in center field. So expect a couple of fly balls that could carry. First pitch from Brink. Called the ball on Brigman. It'll be 1-0. O'Hara had a secondary lead right there. He's only gotten 3 stolen bases off of 7 attempts. So he has been caught stealing quite a few times. Brink will throw over to first to keep an eye on the runner. Brink gets set from the middle of the rubber. The 1-0 delivery as he peeks over his shoulder. Ground ball back up the middle. It's going to be backhanded by Sukata, and he dropped it. Was looking to step on the bag at second and dropped the ball. And so now there's 2 aboard after the error by the second baseman. Get a good look at it right here, right back up the middle. Brink just having to get out of the way of it. And it looked like Sukata was trying to make the transition to step on the bag and make a throw over to first, but he never made it to second. So 2 runners on. And nobody out for Brink on the mound. Efren Manzo steps to the plate. Batting .308 on the season through 43 games. He takes the first pitch strike here. It's 0-1. Let's get you the defense for the Portland Pilots today. Your outfield looks like Briley Knight, Jay Colcroft, and Henry Mensch. The infield, Evan Scavato, Ben Pataxel, Jake Sukata, then Zach Tolia is your first baseman, and then Nick Klemp doing his part behind the plate. Sukata retreats back to his position. Inside pitch turned on, but foul. One hopper into the bullpen for the Portland Pilots. So an 0-2 count now on Manzo. Just the 4th error on the season by Sukata. Normally a sure-handed second baseman. Again, it just seemed like he was moving a bit too fast for what he actually wanted to do, and unable to get the force out at second as the first ball thrown here in this at-bat to Manzo makes it 1-2. John Bostwick is the home plate umpire. Tyler Schmidt is over at first as a strikeout for Brink. That'll help his cause. And with one away, Dale Gardner is the second base umpire, followed by Garrett Wilson, the third base umpire for today's game. As Coleman Brigman comes to the plate. Brigman hitting .293 as a senior through 43 games this year. He's collected 51 hits, good for third on the team. Brink unable to paint the corner right there. It'll be 1-0 to start off Brigman. Dawson and Coleman are both brothers from San Jose, California, went to Valley Christian High School. Last season, Coleman was named All-WCC honorable mention as he fouls this pitch off to our right and out of play. That'll even the count at 1-1. Brigman has been a staple in the lineup for the Broncos from his freshman year to his junior year. Opening day starter, playing in 40-plus games each season, minus the COVID-shortened season. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Sends this one down by the first base coach's box. He now falls behind 1-2 in the count. Brink doing a good job of containing the runners on base right now. With an early error and the leadoff single. Sometimes you can get a bit too worried about the runners on base. He's focusing on the batter right now. The 1-2 delivery. Back-to-back strikeouts, and with a runner on first, Brigman is retired. So 2 Ks now for Nick Brink. And that'll bring up Malcolm Williams, the shortstop for the Broncos. Another look at it. Yeah, fooled him with a breaking ball that ends up bouncing actually in front of the plate. Williams making a homecoming, originally from Lake Oswego High School in Lake Oswego, Oregon. Last season, he only appeared in 20 games, making 14 starts and hit .222 as he takes an inside pitch from Brink. Start out 1-0. Williams on the season as a sophomore is hitting .280 through 43 games with 47 hits. Of those 47 hits, 10 of them have gone for extra bases, and he's driven in 24. Looking to get the Broncos an early lead here in the first inning with the 1-0 delivery. Slider from Brink goes in for a strike. It's 1-1. Brink has done a great job of limiting those runs coming in. Again, only a 1.89 ERA through 11 appearances. This is his 7th start on the season. The 1-1 fouled off to our right and out of play. Now teased that Santa Clara would be bringing the arms and the Pilots would be bringing the bats this weekend, but Santa Clara actually sits at the top of the conference as well with the Portland Pilots. Both teams hitting .299, leading the West Coast Conference. Brink looks back at the runner at second, and a strikeout. Terrific comeback right there by Nick Brink after giving up the first 2 runners to get on base. He responds with 3 straight strikeouts, and he strands the runners on base. We head to the bottom of the first. Pataxel, Holcroft, and Scavata when we return on the WCC Network. Well, the Pilots stranded 2 runners on base. It's now time for Santa Clara to take the field, and Cole Kitchen, the right-handed pitcher from Woodland Hills, California, takes the mound. And the start today for Santa Clara. He's making his 13th start on the season, holds a 3-1 record with a 3.82 ERA. Through 61 and a third innings of work, he's allowed 46 hits, 26 earned runs, 52 strikeouts to 30 walks, and opponents are hitting .214 against him on the season. Ben Pataxa will lead things off for the Pilots. He had Tuesday off against the Oregon State Beavers. First pitch he sees sends a fly ball out into right field. O'Hara takes a couple of steps back, camps underneath it, and he makes the catch with both hands. And the first out is retired here in the bottom of the first. There's the lineup for the Pilots. Pataxa just hit. Holcroft hits second. Scavato will be batting third. Klemp is cleanup. Talia over at first, bats fifth. Knight out in the left field will be batting sixth. Mensch, Gomez, and Sukata round out the bottom of the lineup for Portland. First pitch to Jake Holcroft was a ball low. It's 1-0. Kitchen wasting no time. Throws a slider there. That drops out of the zone. It's 2-0 on Holcroft. Holcroft, the redshirt junior from Upland, California, takes the count to 3-0. Junior's hitting .351 on the season. He's only behind Nick Klemp. Through 43 games, he's collected 67 hits, and 20 of those have gone for extra bases as he takes a strike right there. First one of this at-bat, it's 3-1. One of the toughest outs in the conference. Only strikes out once in about every 13 at-bats, and here he sends one into left field, a line drive, a two-hopper over to John Bering, and the Pilots have their first base runner aboard today with a one-out single by Holcroft. Take another look at that replay, and it was an outside pitch, and nobody does it better than Holcroft. He'll hit it wherever you deliver it. That's what makes him so dangerous as he takes his lead off the bag right now, about 6.5 feet off the bag at first, as Evan Scavato steps to the plate, the junior from Puyallup, Washington. First pitch he swings at and misses in the glove of Stack. He'll start out 0-1. Scavato on the years hitting .291 through 41 games. He's making his 41st start. He's got 43 hits and 16 for extra bases, 7 home runs on the year with 37 RBI. That actually leads this Pilot ball club. He quickly falls behind 0-2 on a breaking ball. Looked like a slider that took him out of the zone. So it's 0-2 on Scavato. The second baseman, Dawson Brigman, playing close to the bag at second. In case there's a throw down with Holcroft on the base path. Holcroft is 11 for 12. There, he's going for second, low throw. And the tag is not applied in time. Holcroft gets to second with a stolen base. Scavato takes a ball, and now it's 1-2 in the count. I have to say that was awfully close with that delivery from Steck. He had a low pitch that he had to get off the ground. Get a replay. And you see once the ball actually popped out, and two, he never applied the tag until Holcroft got his hand on there. So runner in scoring position now for Scavato. The 1-2. Chases. And he goes down with a strikeout, 2 away for the Pilots. Let's get to the defense for the Santa Clara Broncos. John Bering out in the left field. You've got Coleman Brigman out in center. Michael O'Hara is the right fielder. Thomas Ferragero is at third. Malcolm Williams at short. Dawson Brigman at second. Then Ephraim Manzo is the first baseman, and with Steck behind the plate. Nick Klemp having a career season for the Pilots right now. Takes first pitch, first strike. Klemp, the grad student from Everett, Washington, came here via Everett Community College. So far this season, though, he's hitting the cover off the ball. .366 through 40 games. Takes an inside pitch that ends up in the batter's box for a ball. It's 1-1. Klemp has 60 hits on the year. 23 for extra bases. He's got 18 doubles, which actually puts him second in the conference for the amount of doubles that he has this year. Base hit here could score Holcroft with his wheels. There's 2 outs for the Pilots. Ground ball to the right side, and that one's going to get past Brigman. O'Hara fields it in right field. Holcroft is sent home. The throw is off the mark, and Holcroft will score. Klemp moves over to second, and the Pilots have a 1-0 lead. Pilots are so good at the plate with 2 outs. Elevated pitch away. Klemp hit it towards second, and Brigman, who was keeping an eye on Holcroft, was pinching towards that bag, couldn't make a play on it, and then the throw from O'Hara took Stack off the plate. Holcroft scores easily as Klemp picks up his 35th RBI on the season. That'll tie him for second now on the team. But the man he just scored, Jake Holcroft, as Zach Tolia comes to the plate, swings at the first pitch. Not enough bat on it. It'll be 0-1. They're going to give Klemp a double on that one. His 19th of the season. The Pilots jump out to an early 1-0 lead. Kitchen delivers. Tolia fouls it off to our right. And that'll go past the grassy berm area. 0-2 on Tolia. Briley Knight is on deck. Dangerous hitter as well in this lineup. Tolia steps into the box. No chase on the breaking ball that's in the dirt. And almost in the left-handed batter's box. It's 1-2 on Tolia. Kitchen gets set on the first base side of the rubber. Looks back at Klemp. Tolia lifts this ball into left field. This one could be out of here. Bering turns and watches, and Yabo! Tolia adding on to the lead for the Pilots. It's now 3-0 in the bottom of the first inning. All 3 runs coming with 2 outs. Exactly how you want to recover after Tuesday's game and set the tone for this pivotal series, trying to get seeding into the WCC Conference Tournament. And another look inside, belt high, easy for Tolia to turn on that one. John Bering didn't stand a chance out in left field. And with the wind blowing out, it's only going to help those fly balls, and it's now 3-0 as Briley Knight steps to the plate with 2 outs. First pitch was a strike. This one just missing over the white line of the right-handed batter's box. It's now 1-1. Tolia just hit his 8th home run of the season, which now leads all Pilot hitters as Knight fouls this one off. Knight playing in his final series here at Joe Etzel Field. Graduated this past weekend. Final home series. Ground ball hit over to the right side. Brought in by Brigman and thrown over to first. And that will retire the Pilots half of the first inning. But not before 3 runs come across thanks to Nick Klemp's RBI double and a 2-run home run by Zach Tolia. And it's 3-0 in favor of the Pilots. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Welcome back to Joe Etzel Field. A 3-0 lead for the Portland Pilots. thanks to a 2-run home run by Zach Tolia and an RBI double by Nick Klemp. Gives them that lead. Stepping to the plate right now for Santa Clara is Iman Lance, the designated hitter. Lance took the bat off the shoulder but didn't get a full swing. It's 0-1 to start him off in this at-bat. Lance, normally a catcher, the senior from Fairfax, California. Takes ball one, and it's 1-1. Lance is hitting .382. This is only his 10th game on the year. 13 hits, though, in 10 games. He's gotten 10 runs, 7 for extra bases, by the way, as he swings and makes it 1-2. So more than half of his hits have gone for extra bases, including 4 home runs, and he's driven in 8 in those 9 games that he's already played. So a guy that Santa Clara had been missing. Happy to have him back in the lineup as Brink puts this one into the left-handed batter's box. It'll be 2-2. Lance last year was all WCC honorable mention after playing in 42 games. This time he pops it up. It's behind home plate. And that'll actually land near the concourse and out of play. So we'll go back to the 2-2 count. Now Lance split time between the DH and first base last year. Led the team in walks and on-base percentage. Had a team-high 5 home runs in those 42 games. As he pulls this one foul, we'll reset on the 2-2. Already has 4 this year in just 9 games. You have to think that his production would be much more had he been healthy throughout this season. Brink trying to get the signal from Klemp. The 2-2 delivery broke too late. It'll be a full count to Lance. Again, last year he led the team in walks. Got 7 walks to just 5 strikeouts so far this season. Last year he had 24 walks while hitting .295. And he goes down with a strikeout. That's Brink's 4th. And not only is it his 4th of the day, it's the 4th out in a row via the strikeout. As John Baring, the left fielder, will come to the plate now. Brink has really settled in after giving up that leadoff single, and then the error not affecting him at all, with 2 men on and nobody out. Scavato's feet are on the infield grass, but he's off the line at third. Curveball from Brink goes for a strike. It's 0-1. Baring, a junior from Seaside, California. Taking a ball there, just low out of the zone. The junior's hitting .318 through 41 games this year. 47 hits, scored 23 runs. He's hit in 18 RBI with 11 extra base hits as he lays off another pitch. Borderline, it's 2-1. Right side of the infield playing back as Scavato inches in on the infield grass. Fastball from Brink for a strike. It's 2-2. One hopper over to Sukata, gets down onto his knee and delivers a throw over to first to get Baring, who was running hard. 2 away here in the second inning. Tough play for Sukata. Got that short hop right in front of him and had to drop down low to make sure he kept it in front of himself. Second baseman making up for that error that happened in the first inning. Thomas Ferragero now steps into the box, squares to bunt, pulls it back, but it's called a strike. It'll be 0-1. Ferragero, a freshman from Wilsonville, Oregon, so he too making a homecoming. Went to Central Catholic High School here in Portland, actually. Takes ball 1. It's 1-1. First team All Mount Hood Conference. Led the team in average, slugging, and RBI. The 1-1 delivery from Brink. Jammed him, but sends it out into the bullpen of Portland. It'll be 1-2. See if Brink can get his 5th strikeout of the game. Infield playing back now. Brink steps off the rubber, steps back on to reset. This ball golfed into shallow right field, and Mensch lets it land in front of him, so it's a 2-out single for the freshman. And it leads to the 9-hole hitter coming to the plate now for the Broncos. Sferragiro gets the 2nd hit of the game for Santa Clara. Would have been a difficult play. I don't think anybody had a clean play on it. Sukata had to turn his back to the field. That's never easy. And Mensch was playing deep. As Ben Steck, today's catcher for Santa Clara, steps to the box. Steck, a junior from Mill Creek, Washington, actually went to Everett Community College. Same place where Nick Klemp came from before finding his home here at the University of Portland. He'll start out with a 1-0 count. Fouled off to our right. And it's 1-1 on Steck. Steck last year at Everett Community College hit .325, 17 extra base hits in 40 games, and he also drove in 28 runs. The 1-1 delivery off the plate into the left-handed batter's box. It's 2-1. Steck this season through 38 games. He's made 26 starts. Sitting .235 with 23 hits and 19 RBI. Runner fakes like he's going towards second. Strike called to even the count at 2-2 on Steck. Throw over to first, no tag applied. Runners back safely. Brink missed last season due to an injury. Having to have surgery and now back into the rotation. At first he started out of the bullpen, but has really proved what he can do on the mound, and he's gotten back into the weekend rotation for Portland. As a freshman, we saw him start a few midweek games. But he seems to have really settled down and come into his own. The 2-2 with 2 outs, runner on first. Peeks over his shoulder, he'll come home with it. And another ball fouled off to our right. Missing the car that's driving by. We'll go back to the 2-2 count. Career high for strikeouts for Brink is 7. He's already gotten 4. Ground ball hit over to third to Scavato. Gobbles it up, throws it over to first in time, and that will retire the Broncos. As it remains 3-0, they strand a runner over on first. No runs come in to score. We head to the bottom of the second. Mensch, Gomez, and Sukata all due up for the Pilots on the WCC Network. Henry Mensch leads off the bottom of the second inning for the Portland Pilots. Junior's hitting .315 on the season through 36 games as he's making his 28th start. 34 hits, he's driven in 12 runs. The first pitch he sees from Cole Kitchen is a strike. It's 0-1. Kitchen allowed his 7th home run of the season to Zach Tolia. It really opened things up for the Pilots as Mensch fouls one off. Back into the netting behind home plate, it's 0-2. Very hot day here in Portland, Oregon, 85 degrees. As Mensch will send one into left field, one hopper over to Bering, and the leadoff man is aboard. Tristan Gomez steps to the plate, the designated hitter today. Gomez did play in Tuesday's game as the DH. Had a double back in the 7th inning of that one, but that was his only hit. Gomez is making his 22nd start on the year, his 30th appearance. He's hitting .257. 18 hits, 13 runs, and he's driven in 18. Off of 18 hits with 5 doubles and 5 home runs. First pitch inside and low for a ball. It'll start him out 1-0. Mensch takes his lead off at first. Stands about 6.5 feet off the bag. His Kitchen gets set on the first base side of the rubber. Gomez swings through a fastball away. It's 1-1. Gomez stands at 6'5", 200 pounds. The junior is a transfer from Cal State Fullerton from Omaha, Nebraska. Making his way west, squares to bunt, puts it down on the third base side. Kitchen will field it off the mound. And that'll move Mensch over into scoring position after the bunt. And that brings up Jake Sukata, a 9-hole hitter. The last few seasons, he's been hitting leadoff or up near the top of the order because of his ability to get on base. Almost acts as a second leadoff man on the season. A native of Hawaii, he's hitting .286 on the year. First pitch, he swings, sends it into center field. Mensch is going to get sent home. Brigman throws it into second, and it's an RBI single for Jake Sukata, and the Pilots take a 4-0 lead. So the sac bunt works to perfection to get the man into scoring position. And the Pilots add on to that lead. Another look. The ball broke right over the heart of the plate for Sukata, and he's able to put it right back up the middle. And that sends up Ben Pataxel, the shortstop today. Pataxel swung at the first pitch of Portland's half of the first inning and sent it into right field. A breaking ball here stays above the letters. It'll be 1-0. Pataxel, though, the junior, native of Renton, Washington, from O'Day High School, is hitting .282 on the season, but he's getting on base at a .409 clip. So he's got 37 hits, 17 RBI. Another ball that's hit into right field. Ranging towards the line is Michael O'Hara. He will make the catch, and Pataxel will be retired for the second time via fly out to right field. Jake Holcroft now comes to the plate. He singled in the first, and he scored the first run. And he was on second, and Nick Klemp with the RBI double got the first run across. First pitch to Holcroft. Got jammed inside, flares it out to left. Bering will make the catch, and that will end the Pilots' half of the second inning. But one run scores thanks to an RBI single from Jake Sukata. And it's now a 4-0 lead for the Pilots as we head to the third. It's the top of the order for Santa Clara. Michael O'Hara, Dawson Brigman, and Efren Manzo when we return. of the third inning as Nick Brink goes out for another inning of work. He's already struck out 4 Broncos on the day as he faces Michael O'Hara for the second time. O'Hara got the best of him with a single back in the first, but was left stranded at second as Brink responded after getting the first 2 on base with 3 straight strikeouts. This ball popped up in that triangle area down the left field line, and it's going to be caught by Ben Pataxel in front of Briley Knight, calling off Evan Scavato. And the pop out leads to the first out here in the top of the third. Always a dangerous spot. A lot of communication has to happen between those 3 players. Pataxel, though, calling off everybody to make that out. And that'll bring up Dawson Brigman, who hit a ground ball back up the middle, was backhanded by Sukata. But as he tried to make a play over at second, he was trying to make that transition out of his glove to make a throw over to first, but dropped it before he could step on the bag at second, and it led to an error, and Brigman reaching base. So he's 0 for 1 today. With the 1-0 count, Brink delivers. That one at the top of the zone goes in there for a strike, 1-1. These 2 teams are evenly matched over the last 63 games. As Brigman swings through that one, ends up in the glove of Klepp. It's 1-2. 31 wins for Portland, 32 for Santa Clara. Portland currently on a 3-game win streak against the Broncos. The Broncos have actually gotten the best of the Pilots during that time as that ball pops out of the glove of Klepp. It's 2-2. Broncos are 18-15 here at Joe Etzel Field during that span. Meanwhile, the Pilots are 16-14 down to Santa Clara. Portland has made ground, though, over the last few seasons, 7-3 over the last 10 matchups. The 2-2 delivery high above the letters, near shoulder high on Brigman. It's a full count, 3-2. Dawson Brigman is hitting .305 on the season through 42 games with 50 hits and 22 RBIs. 50 hits ranks him 3rd on the team. Confidently gets over to first with a walk from Brink, his first of the day. And so with 1 out, there's 1 on, and that'll bring up Efren Manzo.
First baseman, first round, Efren Manzo.
Manzo, a junior from Chandler, Arizona. Already been honored with being named WCC Player of the Week this season. That was all the way back on March 13th. Brigman takes his lead off at first. Brink comes home. Ground ball down the third baseline. Scavato fields it in fair territory and throws a strike over to first. And that'll get Manzo out. Moving up to second is Brigman. Evan Scavato doing a terrific job over at the hot corner, making another play. That ball was hugging the line. As you see, he makes the play in front of the bag at third. And a half step between the runner and the ball right there. And that will bring up Coleman Brigman. Struck out his last time up. With 2 outs as a man in scoring position, a chance for Santa Clara to at least get a run across here. As they trail 4-0. First pitch from Brink, a fastball in the left-handed batter's box. It'll be 1-0. Coleman hitting close to 300 at .293 through 43 games this year. Trails his brother, or actually leads his brother, by 1 hit with 51 on the season. 36 RBIs. He fouls this one off the end of the bat. Dawson will go back to second as Coleman resets with the 1-1 count. Coleman last season made 51 starts out in center field, led the team in at-bats, runs, and RBI. He lays off the low off-speed pitch from Brink, 2-1. Led the team in hits, doubles, and tied for home runs as he hit .292 that year with 62 hits and 34 RBI. The 2-1 delivery from Brink fools him with the off-speed right there. Chased early, it's 2-2. Brink has seemed dialed in for the most part today. 4 strikeouts all came in a row, 3 to end out the first, and then got the first batter in the second. Here's the 2-2 with the runner on second. Swung on and missed. He gets his 5th strikeout of the day, and that strands the runner over at second, and the score remains 4-0 in favor of Portland. As we head to the bottom of the third, it's the heart of the order for the Pilots. Scavato, Klemp, and Zach Tolia all due up when we return on the WCC Network. Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field. Evan Scavato leading things off here in the bottom of the third inning. The Pilots already out to an early 4-0 lead. Thanks to an RBI double by Klemp, a 2-run home run by Zach Tolia, and an RBI single from Jake Tsukata. Scavato takes a first pitch strike, asking where that one ended up at the bottom of the zone. It's 0-1. Scavato rips one into left field, splitting the shortstop and the third baseman, and the leadoff man is aboard for Portland. And that brings up Nick Klemp, who's already cashed in at least once. He's hit his 19th double of the season, driving in his 35th run. Scavato just picked up his 44th hit on the year. This one in the dirt. Stack able to field that one cleanly. Klemp will get ahead of the count, 1-0. Another one low, no chase from Portland's catcher. It'll be 2-0. Here you get a good look at Coach Loomis, who's doing a great job in his 8th season at the helm of his alma mater. Got the Pilots into the 2-seed position last year in the first WCC tournament that Portland has shown up to. Klemp puts a drive into center field. Brigman running back. He's near the warning track, gets behind it, and fields it on the warning track, going back to first. It'll be Scavato. So a loud out by Nick Klemp right there. And with the wind blowing out, always dangerous. But that'll bring up Zach Tolia, who's already cashed in with a long ball. A 2-run home run in the first that opened up the scoring to 3-0 in favor of Portland. Breaking ball ends up in the left-handed batter's box on the first pitch to Tolia. It'll be 1-0. Tolia thought about it, kept the bat though near his shoulder, no swing. It'll be 2-0. Briley Knight will be on deck. Scavato on the season, just 1 for 2 on stolen base attempts, takes his secondary, and the slider from Kitchen stays high. It's now 3-0 on Zach Tolia, and you have to be thinking that that last at bat, he doesn't want to give him anything inside right now. He gave him an inside pitch, belt high, that he turned on and absolutely crushed over the left field wall. Strike right there on the far side of the plate. It's 3-1. D'Elia got his 25th RBI after that hit and his team-leading 8th home run of the season. Kitchen throws over to first. Scavato back safely. And with graduation this past weekend, there's still quite a few people in the ballpark here at Joe Etzel Field. What's not to like with the warm weather of 85 degrees? No clouds in the skies as D'Elia now dealing with a full count, 3-2. Slight winds to try to cool you off. 6 miles an hour blowing out, as you can slightly see from the American flag out in the left center field. Another throw over to first. Scavato back in safely. Looked a bit awkward, but he got his hand in there before the tag was applied. Here's a look at that flag out in center field. Can't ask for better weather here at Joe Etzel Field this weekend. Scavato's going for second, and it's ball 4 to D'Elia. It doesn't matter. He advances on the walk. And so now there's 2 aboard with 1 out for Portland as Briley Knight comes to the plate. Briley Knight brought in the only runs against Oregon State on Tuesday with a 2 RBI double in the bottom of the 9th. At the time, it looked like the Pilots could really make a run. They scored those 2 runs with nobody out. And then 3 straight strikeouts for the Pilots, stranding Knight over at second, ended that game. First pitch he sees here is above the shoulders. It's 1-0 on Knight. As I alluded to earlier, this will be the last series for Briley Knight at Joe Etzel Field as he graduated this past weekend. The 1-0 delivery puts drive into one into left field. Bering fighting off the sun, makes the catch on the line drive. And there's 2 away for Portland. Henry Mensch now comes to the plate. He led off the second inning with a single and came around to score thanks to Jake Sukata. RBI single after he was bunted over to second by Tristan Gomez. Mensch, the junior, batting .315 on the season through 37 games. Grounds this one. Couple hops over to the Portland bullpen. They'll start out 0-1. Mensch is one of the 5 qualified hitters for Portland to be hitting over 300 on the season. Swings with a big hack on that one, but comes up empty. It's 0-2. Hitting .315 with 34 hits, 12 driven in. The 0-2. Strike 3, goes down looking. That'll strand 2 runners on base for Portland. First inning where they don't score any runs, it remains 4-0 in favor of the Pilots. We head to the 4th. It's Malcolm Williams, Iman Lance, and John Bering coming to the plate for the Broncos when we return on the WCC Network. There's a look at some of the fans enjoying the sunny weather here in Portland, Oregon. Sun starting to set, getting behind everything over on our right side, creating shadows on the field. It's a 4-0 lead as Nick Brink back on the rubber for Portland. First pitch, curveball for a strike. It's 0-1. Malcolm Williams was a victim of one of the strikeouts that Brink has. 5 so far today. His career high in a game is 7. Fools him again. 0-2 now. Williams is hitting .280 on the season through 43 games. Struck out 38 times. Lays off the high pitch from Brink. First ball of this at-bat, it's 1-2. Pilots are trying to lock up that second seed, but it starts with this series this weekend. And Williams puts one right back up the middle. Holcroft will get to it in center field. And the leadoff man is aboard to start off the 4th for Santa Clara. I shouldn't just say Portland, it's also Santa Clara trying to vie for that second seed in the WCC tournament. With 2 weekends left, both these teams are tied for 3rd in conference. Portland has the tiebreaker over San Diego as they won that series down in San Diego. As Eamon Lance steps to the plate, throws over to first to keep an eye on Williams. He's safe. Lance struck out to start off the second inning. He's 0 for 1 today. Senior's hitting .382. Again, only his 10th game of the season. That's most of it with an injury. Unable to make contact on that breaking ball, 0-1. Another throw over to first to keep an eye on the runner. Williams is the rabbit of this team, 15 stolen bases and 19 attempts. Now this is a team that does like to run a little bit. Second in the conference in stolen bases. They've got 53 on the season. And Williams leads the way, like I said, with 15 out of 19 attempts. Next closest guy to him is Coleman Brigman, who has 9 stolen bases. A couple guys with 8, John Bering and Dawson Brigman. The 0-1 delivery, ground ball softly hit to Sukata, flips it to Pataxel for 1, and the relay throws in time. Twin killing started by Sukata, and there's 2 away here in the top of the 4th. And again, fighting off that early error, it's Sukata making another nice play, making up for it. And the leadoff man that got aboard via the single is now back in the dugout as John Bering comes to the plate. He grounded out to Sukata his last time. Quick one-hopper to the second baseman. Brink missing high and away. First pitch ball, it's 1-0. Evan Scavato, the third baseman, playing off the line, but his feet are on the infield grass in case Bering puts down a bunt. The 1-0. It's now 1-1. Normally you think, well, there's 2 outs. Do you really want to put a bunt down? But a lot of these guys run a hard 90. They're fast down these baselines. See how far Scavato is off the line right now. Bering chases on the pitch, slow and away. Actually ends up in the right-handed batter's box. It's 1-2. Brink with 5 Ks, looking for a 6th. Could get it right here to get out of this inning. Terrific start for the redshirt sophomore. Ground ball hit over to the first baseman in Tolia. Steps on the bag, takes it himself, 3 unassisted. And that will end the top of the 4th for Santa Clara. No runs off of 1 hit, nobody left on base thanks to the double play started by Sukata. In the bottom of the 4th, it's Gomez, Sukata, and Ben Pataxel when we return on the WCC Network. Tristan Gomez set to lead off the bottom of the fourth inning. No official at-bat on the day for him as he sacrificed bunted Henry Mensch over to second. In his first at-bat, that was in the second inning, and that led to an extra run for the Pilots as Mensch came in on an RBI single from Jake Sucata as Tristan Gomez takes a strike to start off this at-bat. It's 0-1. Gomez is hitting .257 on the year, making his 22nd start, 30th appearance. 18 hits, 18 RBI. As he now falls behind, 0-2 in the count. The 0-2. No chase from Gomez. It's 1-2 now. Big series between these two teams. Again, deciding who's moving up the conference standings and getting that crucial bye in the WCC tournament. The 1-2 delivery. Gomez goes down on strikes. First out recorded here in the bottom of the fourth. Look at the replay. Elevated fastball challenging Gomez. Kitchen gets the best of him. Third strikeout for Kitchen on the day. Sucata thought about it. He'll take the strike. It's 0-1. Kitchen was actually the WCC Pitcher of the Week back on March 6th. He threw 7 shutout innings in the opener against UC San Diego. Sucata fouls this one off to our left. It's now 0-2. Only gave up 2 hits in that outing through 7 innings. Struck out 8. Last season, he was second team All-WCC on the mound. 15 appearances, 14 starts, as this one low and away from Sucata makes it 1-2. Through 72 in the third innings, struck out 101 batters on the year, the 4.35 ERA. Fortunately, couldn't translate that into many wins. He did go 4-4. Two-two. Sucata, chopper over to second. Brigman backs up and gets it over to first. To get Sucata gone. And there's 2 away for the Pilots here in the fourth inning. That'll bring up Ben Pataxel, who's 0 for 2 today. 2 flyouts to right field. Pataxel leading the conference in hit by pitches. Almost right there, caught one high. It's 1-0. 17 times he's been hit by a pitch this season. Which ranks him 22nd nationally. Starts out 1-1 with that strike. Can the Pilots get things going with another 2-out rallies? Pataxel taking a strike on a fastball, 1-2. And that'll do it for the Pilots. 1-2-3 in the fourth. Backwards K for Pataxel. No runs, no hits. The score remains 4-0 in favor of the Pilots. We head to the fifth, and it's the bottom of the order. Thomas Ferragero, Ben Steck, and Michael O'Hara coming to the plate next for the Broncos on the WCC Network. Pilots up early, 4 runs through the first 2 innings, 3 of them coming in the first, thanks to a 2-run home run by Zach Tolia, really setting the pace for the Pilots here as Nick Brink out for another inning of work. Through 4 innings, he's done a terrific job, delivers a first pitch strike here to Thomas Ferragero, who's 1 for 1 with a single. The freshman from Central Catholic High School is making his return to his home state. Right side of the infield playing back, Scavato. Toes touching that infield grass, 1-1 after that breaking ball broke away from the plate. Now in the shaded area, the sun getting lower and lower here. 1-1 delivery. Ground ball and just underneath the glove of Nick Brink, a leadoff single as Ferragero now 2 for 2 today with a couple of singles. Brink through 4 innings has now given up 4 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And nothing wrong with that pitch. He was trying to keep it low just like he did, and that was basically touching the zone. So Ferragero, give credit to the freshman, getting his 2nd hit of the day. Sukata will creep towards the bag at second for a possible play. As Ben Steck, the catcher, takes strike 1. It's 0-1. Steck grounded out to Evan Scavato back in the 2nd inning. That ended Santa Clara's run. Ferragero, not a big threat to steal, but he is 2 for 2 on the season. Steck puts one in the air to go foul and out of play to our right. On the outside part of the plate and low for a ball. First one of this at bat. It's now 1-2 on Steck. First season with the Broncos for Steck. So runner fakes on going to second. Klemp gloves that one low and away. Evens the count at 2-2. So far today, Santa Clara 0 for 8 with runners on, 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Another K for Brink. That makes 6, and he's 1 away from his career high. And a single outing as Michael O'Hara will come to the plate. Take a look at that last pitch from Brink. Power fastball low and away. Induced the chase, and he got it. O'Hara on the day is 1 for 2, singled in the first, popped out to Ben Pataxel in the triangle area behind third base, his last at-bat. Brink will throw over to first, high, taken in by Tolia. Will reset on the 0-0 count. O'Hara, the senior from Danville, California, hitting .304 this year through 41 games, making his 41st start on the year, though, 42nd appearance. 49 hits, now has 50. They get the strike on O'Hara. It's 0-1. Of his 50 hits, 15 of them have gone for extra bases. He's driven in 25 as well on the year as the leadoff man. Breaking ball from Brink, 0-2. Brink's been efficient, only 1 walk so far. A couple of hits that have been scattered throughout. Ferragero taking his lead off at first. Now he takes his secondary. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout. And that's now 7, tying his career high. Nothing too crazy about that last pitch. Just challenged him with a fastball again. And that'll send up Dawson Brigman, who's reached base twice today. He's 0 for 1 as he reached on an error back in the first inning where he was left stranded over at first, and then he walked in the third, and he was left on second. Brink, breaking ball. First pitch stays high. It'll be 1-0. Brink got those 7 strikeouts at home here against Gonzaga when he went 6 strong, only allowing 5 hits and 1 earned run with those 7 strikeouts and 2 walks. Brigman squares to bunt and sends it foul. It's a dribbler over in front of the Pilot dugout. It'll be 1-1. That 6 innings for Brink was his longest outing of the season at that point. He did go 7 at BYU the following weekend. Got the win in both of those. The 1-1. Low out of the zone, gloved by Clem, 2-1. Through 81 pitches, which was also a season high at that point for Brink. Since then, though, that BYU game, he threw 115 pitches. 7 innings. Tied his longest outing as well. The 2-1 delivery inside, just getting out of the way of that one is Brigman. It's now 3-1. She's close to reaching via the walk for a second time today. Ferragero still over at first after the leadoff single. Fakes like he's going towards second. Brigman fouls it off to our right and across the street. That'll make it a full count now, 3-2. So close, but it's a walk. Brigman with a close eye reaches base for the 3rd time today. Twice via the walk, once via the errors. Ferragero moves up to second into scoring position. Now Efren Manzo will come to the plate. Another look at it, and yeah, it was over that white line of the left-handed batter's box. Good call by the home plate umpire, John Bostwick. Manzo 0 for 2 today, a strikeout, and he grounded out to Evan Scavato at second. We'll start out 1-0 this time around. This ball hit into left field. First hit with runner in scoring position for the Broncos today. Knight will field it off of one hop, and it'll be an RBI single for Manzo. It's now 4-1 as Manzo getting his 44th RBI of the season. And it's 4-1. Moving up to second is Dawson Brigman. Should get another look at it. Knight playing deep out in left field. Because of what Manzo can do, he had 14 home runs on the season. So you can understand why the defense was set up as it was, especially with the wind blowing out at times. As Coleman Brigman fouls off the first pitch of this at-bat, it's 0-1. Coleman Brigman has been victim to Nick Brink twice, 2 strikeouts. It's Brink giving up his first run of the day. Comes back with another strike. Oh, 2 on Brigman. Can he set a new career high in strikeouts right here? Strand the runners on. Here's the 0-2 with 2 outs. Swung on and missed. 8 strikeouts now for Brink. Strands 2 runners on. 1 run does come in to score thanks to the RBI single by Efren Manzo. But it's 4-1 in favor of the Pilots as Brink continuing a career day. Coming to the plate for the Pilots, it's Holcroft, Scavato, and Klemp when we return on the WCC Network. Santa Clara got on the board in the top of the fifth. Let's see if the Pilots can return the favor here in the bottom of the fifth as Jake Holcroft leads off the Pilots, takes the first pitch strike. Holcroft, all-WCC first-team selection last year and an all-tournament team member, takes ball one of this at-bat. It's 1-1. Currently on an 18-game on-base streak. He fouls off this pitch into the netting behind home plate. It'll be 1-1. Dates all the way back to April 1st as he puts one in the air into left field. Bearing catches the easy can of corn right there. And the first out here in the fifth. Evan Scavato coming to the plate. He's 1 for 2 today. Singled in the third, was left stranded over at second, and then he struck out in his first at-bat in the first inning. Scavato takes a slider for a strike here. He'll start out 0-1. Scavato taking the inside pitch for a ball. That'll make the count 1-1. Scavato, who hit .296 last year, is hitting .291 at the moment. Chopper into the 5-hole, backhand by the shortstop Williams, and the hopper goes away from Manzo. Backing him up is the catcher Steck, so Scavato will stay over at first. Now that was going to be an awfully close play because of the chopping ball over to short. Will they give Scavato a hit, or will they count that one as the error? We'll get another chance to look at it right here. Deep into that 5-hole, Williams was trying to make a play. And I think had it been a clean play for Manzo over at first, Scavato probably would have been out. They're going to give him a single, though. Nick Klemp comes to the plate. Fouls off the first pitch to all right. He'll start out 0-1. Here's another look at the replay. And it would have been about a half step had it been a clean throw. Of course, it's the home team statistician. Got to bump your own team's numbers right there. That'll be a single for Scavato on the infield as Klemp takes ball one. It'll be 1-1. Benefit of being the catcher, you know the strike zone. Being best friends with the home plate umpire. Today, it's John Bostwick. It's now 1-1 on Klemp. Talk about a career year for him. He's currently on a 12-game hit streak after that RBI double back in the first, as Scavato's back in head first on that throw over. Last year was his best season to date in a Pilot uniform. 29 hits and 18 RBI. Compared to this year, 60 hits in 34 RBI, and make it 35 RBI, and 61 hits after his RBI double earlier today as Klemp takes ball two. It's now 2-1. Scavato getting his lead off the bag. Kitchen, another throw over. No tag applied by Manzo. A couple of Pilots currently on a streak. I already said Holcroft was on an 18-game on-base streak, a 12-game hit streak right now for Nick Klemp. And then Briley Knight, next time he comes up, he has a chance to extend his streak to 12 games. He's currently on an 11-game on-base streak. The 2-1. High fly ball into center. Going back, it's Brigman. Seems like he's got a beat on it, though. Gets to the warning track. Behind it, makes the catch. And two away. Another loud out for Nick Klemp, similar to what he had his last at-bat. So he now falls for 1 for 3 on the day, with a couple flyouts to center field, 2 away, and that'll bring up Zach Tolia, who's 1 for 1 today with a walk. That one hit, though, was a big one. A 2-run home run in the first. It separated and really opened up the scoring for the Pilots. At that point, it made it 3-0. Kitchen got burned on an inside waist-high fastball. And you could sort of feel the tension the last time Kitchen faced off against Talia. He wasn't giving him anything inside. That's what led to his walk. Now he did get it to a full count. This time he starts out with a low fastball, 1-0. Slider this time around, fools Talia. I think he was expecting another fastball. It's now 1-1 after the strike. Talia, another big swing, but comes up empty, 1-2. The lights have already popped on here at Joe Edsel Field as the sun continues to get lower and lower on the bluff. Throw over to first, Scavato again back safely. Creating doubt in the runner is what Kitchen's trying to do with each throw over to first. Shorten up that lead for Scavato. You get a base hit to the right side. Scavato could end up over at third. Doesn't matter. Talia chasing a ball low and away. Ends with a strikeout. They strand Scavato over at first. No runs come in to score. It remains a 4-1 lead for the Pilots. We head to the sixth. It's Malcolm Williams, Eamon Lance, and John Baring coming to the dish next for the Broncos on the WCC Network. Nick Brink is putting on quite the performance today for the Pilots as he's gotten 8 strikeouts, a new career high for the redshirt sophomore from Portland, Oregon, and Cleveland High School, I should say. He's been pacing the Pilots on the mound as he faces off against Malcolm Williams, one of his victims so far today. Williams is 1 for 2. The first pitch here, he actually fouls it off of his ankle. Brink trying to add on to this career day for himself. Williams a strikeout in the first, had a single back in the fourth, and then he was part of a double play. That was started by Jake Sukata. The 0-1 delivery. High chopper over Evan Scavato, who was playing in at third. He couldn't make a play on it. And the leadoff man is on board yet again. Second time for Williams. And you see on the replay, Scavato can't do anything about it with how shallow he's playing in at third. And that'll bring up Eamon Lance, the designated hitter. He's 0 for 2 today, a strikeout in the second inning. And then he grounded into that double play started by Jake Sukata back in the fourth inning. Lance is hitting .382, trying to pick up that first hit in today's game. Klemp blocks it with his body, keeps it in front. The runner stays over at first. Williams is the man to keep an eye on, though, over at first. 15 stolen bases on the season. Leads this ball club that's second in the conference with 53 stolen bases on the season. Lance taking a strike. Thigh high, outer part of the plate. It's 1-1. Not a big lead for Williams right now over at first. The wind has sort of died down here at Joe Etzel Field, but still quite hot. Lance taking strike 2 at the bottom of the zone. It's currently 80 degrees here at Joe Etzel Field. Started out at 85 and sunny, 6-mile-an-hour winds. You can see the outfield playing deep. That's Knight, Holcroft, and Mensch all playing very deep inside their own ballpark. Another throw over to first by Brink. No defensive substitutions, so it's still Scavato, Pataxel, Sukata, and Tolia, the infield for Portland. Shadows creeping over the right side of Joe Etzel Field. Brink peeks over his shoulder twice. Runner's going for second. Klimp, quick throw. Sukata's got it, and they got Williams. Heck of a throw by Nick Klimp. The quick transition. Sukata applying the tag, and the leadoff man is no more. Bang, bang. It looked like Williams was awfully close to getting his left hand on that bag as Sukata applied the tag. Very close. As this ball now popped up by Lance into foul territory. Tolia near the first base coach's box will make the catch, and there's 2 away. So far, the Broncos unable to do anything with the leadoff man reaching base. 4 times it's happened today. Now, they did score their 1 run in the 5th inning, thanks to Ferragiro, who reached base, as John Bering now comes up to the plate with 2 outs. He's grounded out twice, once to Jake Sukata at second. The last time he pulled the ball down the first baseline, and it was fielded by Tolia, who stepped on the bag himself. Scavato now playing on the infield grass. Over at third, the 0-1 count on Bering. One hopper over to Pataxel, takes it in at his hip, and picked by Tolia over at first, and they get Bering. And thanks to catching Williams stealing on the base path, it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Broncos. At the plate, we head to the bottom of the 6th. Briley Knight, Henry Mensch, and Tristan Gomez all coming to the dish when we return on the WCC Network. There's been a lot of history here at the University of Portland. You look at some of the Hall of Famers here. Pat Casey comes to mind. Jeff Loomis right there as your head coach. Also had Ken Daly as the first name as the number 3 overall draft pick to the St. Louis Cardinals when he went to play professional ball, as Briley Knight swings through the first pitch that actually hits him, but because he swings, it's 0-1. Ken Daly graduated in 1980, spent 3 seasons here on the Bluff before being drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals. His breaking ball stays off the plate away from Briley Knight. It's now 1-1. An 11-game on-base streak currently for Briley Knight, trying to extend it to 12. As this ball goes low, it's now 2-1. He might have done it right here. A drive into right center field. Brigman giving chase, and it's right off the wall. Halfway up, and Briley Knight's got himself a double, and he extends that streak to 12. She's trailing Nick Klemp by 2 doubles. He's now got 17 to Klemp's 19. But the leadoff man in scoring position for the Pilots here in the bottom of the 6th. An absolute laser halfway up the wall in right center field. You see on the replay right there, Brigman was on his horse, but no way he can make a play on it. It's a perfect position for the Pilots to add on another run. Try to push that lead back to 4 as Henry Mensch steps to the plate. Mensch is 1 for 2 today. Singled and came around to score in the 2nd, and then he struck out looking to end the 3rd inning. Squares to bunt down the 3rd baseline, and too much spin on that one brings it into foul territory. He'll start out 0-1. Pilots trying to play a little bit of small ball, move that man over. Mensch already squaring to bunt. Corner infielders coming in. It's Ferragero and Efren Manzo, the first baseman, as they throw back to 2nd. Will reset on the 0-1 count. Despite giving up 4 runs already through 5 innings of work, Kitchen is only at 61 pitches. Hasn't had to work deep into counts that much with the Pilots. It's Mensch squaring to bunt. Ferragero ready to sprint in. Kitchen again stepping off the rubber, having to throw to Williams. We'll go back to the 0-1 count. Mensch trying to move Briley Knight over to 3rd. Ready to bunt again. Kitchen uncomfortable. Having to throw back over to 2nd again. Doesn't like the lead that. Not quite sure what the signal was right there between the umpires. And now you're getting the head coach and Rusty Filter trying to get an explanation on what was just said on the field. Now you have to at least throw over to the bag. Williams wasn't covering. He was over at short in his position. This is when I wish I really had Corey Keir in the booth with me to talk this one through. I'm not quite sure, again, what's happening here. So we'll reset on the 1-1 count. Here's some of the fans counting down. Mensch puts down a bunt, and it goes foul. You can see the disappointment in himself. Got it off what looked like the end of the bat. Dipped it down low as that pitch was going away from him, and it's now 2 strikes on Mensch. So you have to think he'll probably be swinging here to avoid the strikeout via the bunt foul ball. Barron, the only outfielder that's playing deeper than his normal position, as this ball put in the dirt. It's blocked by Steck. Knight will stay over at 2nd. It's now a 2-2 count on Mensch. See Coach Loomis out in front of his dugout. Always knows when to press those buttons to get the best out of his guys. Here's the 2-2 delivery to Mensch. Again, laying off the low pitch. Now a full count to Mensch. Corner infielders now playing back. Full count, delivery. Mensch fouls it off of Steck's mask, actually. Home plate umpire John Bostwick checking in on the catcher. He says he's okay. And you see the normal sportsmanship between those two. The umpire giving him a few seconds to gather himself after that foul ball. Bostwick giving the ball to Cole Kitchen on the mound. So we'll reset on the full count, runner on second. Kitchen will get set on the first base side of the rubber, looks back at Knight. Inside on mention, they call strike 3. That was awfully close. It looked like it was over the white of the batter's box. Instead, he was about to throw his bat for a walk. Mensch will go down with his second strikeout looking on the day, and here he'll get another look at it. And that's a good frame job right there by Steck. The ball carried him into that batter's box, but able to bring it back in. You don't want to say that was a wasted at-bat, but you had the 2 bunt foul balls and ended up with a strikeout as Tristan Gomez comes to the plate. He'll start out 0-1. Gomez is 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt. He struck out swinging back in the 4th. Looks like there are a couple arms up in the bullpen for Santa Clara. Nobody throwing at the moment. They seem to be standing on the rubber. Now they both are. They got a righty and a lefty out there as Gomez takes his second strike. It's 0-2. Brian Knight standing on second. Kitchen will come home with it. Gomez fouls it off to our left. It'll go out of play as Thomas Ferrigero gave chase, the third baseman for the Broncos. Go back to the 0-2. Winner of this one will take over sole possession of third place in the conference. Push their way up to try to get to second as Gomez. You can see the frustration in himself. Second strikeout of the day. See, against another elevated pitch that he was underneath as Jake Sukata now comes to the plate. We already saw him punch in 1 run with an RBI single back in the second. That's what made it 4-0 in favor of Portland. Otherwise, Sukata grounded out to second his last time up in the 4th. First pitch he sees away off the plate, about letter high for a ball. It's 1-0. Sukata's hitting .289 on the season after getting that hit in the second. He's hitting .388 with runners in scoring position. The 1-0. High, about shoulder high and away. It's 2-0. Sukata has been a staple on the infield for the Pilots for the last few seasons. Takes an inside pitch, about shin high, off the plate though, 3-0. And Sukata taking the whole way will take strike 1. It's now 3-1. You can hear some of the grumblings from the home crowd wanting ball 4 right there. Very similar to the first couple of pitches of the at-bat. I should say similar placement of those first couple of pitches. 3-1. And Sukata will get himself on via the walk. Second time he's reached base today. And that'll roll the lineup up to the leadoff man and Ben Pataxel. He hasn't had much luck today. He's 0 for 3, a couple of flyouts to right field to Michael O'Hara, and then he struck out looking to end the 4th inning. And coach now coming out, and Rusty Filter, 6th season as the head man for Santa Clara, bringing in the infield, and you have to think that Kitchen's day is probably done. Or you come out here to try to get your arms warmed up, but there are already 2 guys warming up in the bullpen this entire inning. We'll let Kitchen try to finish this one out. There are 2 outs. Pataxel is 0 for 3 against Kitchen already today. So you have to think maybe give him a chance to get out of this one. Briley Knight started off this inning with a laser shot off the right center field wall. This Filter's going to go back to the dugout, and he'll let Kitchen finish this inning. Filter, a graduate of San Diego State. Sukata's got his lead off at first. Knight leading off at second. Pataxel steps in for the fourth time today against Kitchen. Drives one down the right field line. This is actually going to end up just over the right field berm. And near a couple of cars, it'll roll across the street. And the foul ball leads to an 0-1 count. Pataxel hitting .276 now on the season. And a line drive caught by Ferragero, the third baseman. And that ends the threat for the Pilots here in the sixth. Pataxel now 0 for 4. After the lineout, we head to the seventh. A 4-1 lead for Portland. It's the bottom of the order. Thomas Ferragero, Ben Steck, and Michael O'Hara all due up for the Broncos when we return. Well, it's a beautiful day here on the campus of the University of Portland. Can't ask for much better weather. No clouds, 80 degrees, and 6-mile-an-hour winds as we enter the top of the seventh inning. Portland Pilots leading 4-1 as Thomas Ferragero comes to the plate. First pitch from Brink off the plate, far side, away from the left-handed bat. It's 1-0. Ferragero looking for his third hit of the day. He hasn't hit since April 23rd. He takes a 2-0 count now. Ferragero had 3 hits in his last time he got to play a full game. That was at Washington State back on April 23rd. Here he takes the first strike of this at-bat, 2-1. Already 2 for 2 today, a couple of singles, one in the second, one in the fifth, where he came around to score thanks to an RBI single by Efren Manzo. Can he reach base for the third time today? Big swing and a miss right there. It's now 2-2. As he chased the low inside pitch. Riley Knight's fighting off the sun in left field. Pataxel's in a lone sunspot on the infield for the Pilots. The 2-2 delivery and another strikeout. That makes 9 now on the day. A new career high just keeps adding on for Nick Brink. Beautiful breaking pitch right there. Dropped right through the bottom of the zone. Ben Steck now comes to the plate. He's 0 for 2. Grounded out. See Evan Scavato over at third and then struck out in his last at-bat back in the fifth inning. Here he takes a first pitch strike, 0-1. Steck came into today batting .235 with 23 hits. Driving to right field, going back is Mensch. He's near the wall at the warning track, and he makes the catch on the track. And the loud out makes 2 gone here in the seventh. As we go back to the top of the order to Michael O'Hara. O'Hara's 1 for 3 on the day. Singled back in the first, but was left stranded over at second. Popped out to Ben Pataxel in that triangle down the third baseline. And then he struck out his last at-bat in the fifth. Brink, if he gets through this inning, which it looks like he will tie his longest outing of his career with 7 innings of work. And 9 strikeouts at the moment. Can he get to double digits in this at-bat? The 1-0. Nice curveball right there. Drops into the zone for a strike. Evens the count at 1-1. One taken by O'Hara for a ball, makes it 2-1. So it's high and away. Great to see the support here at Joe Etzel Field, even after the school year has ended. This ball fouled off. That'll even the count again, this time at 2-2. You can see that baseball's really growing here on the Bluff. Program that was taken over by Jeff Loomis 8 seasons ago. Slowly but surely has made its way to relevance within the West Coast Conference, finishing in the top half for the last few seasons. Ground ball hit over to the right side and past Sukata into right field, and the 2-out single for O'Hara leads to his second hit of the day. And that'll bring up Dawson Brigman, who's been a thorn in the side of Portland so far today. He's reached base 3 times, 2 times via the walk, and then he reached on an error by Jake Sukata back in the first inning, but was left stranded on base. So the 7th hit given up by Nick Brink, but he's done a good job of scattering them throughout most of today's game. Only 2 hits in a single inning. That was back in the 5th, which actually led to the only run for Santa Clara. So Dawson Brigman, 0 for 1 on the day, takes a first pitch slider away for a 1-0 count. Brigman on the year is hitting .305 coming into today through 42 games. The 1-0 evened up by Brink, 1-1. Brink currently at 87 pitches on the day. He threw 115 in Provo, Utah a couple weekends ago in the win against BYU. The 1-1 delivery, breaking ball for a strike that fooled Brigman. He was expecting something else. Instead, he picks up his second strike. It's 1-2. Pilots trying to tie up this series between Santa Clara overall. 31 wins for Portland, 32 for Santa Clara over the last 63 games. A win here would even it up at 32 apiece. Pilots have won 7 of the last 10. This ball towards the line, down in right field. Mensch will make the catch at the foul line, and they strand the runner over at first. Brink gets through the 7th inning, 9 strikeouts on the day, and the Pilots take their 4-1 lead into the bottom of the 7th just before the 7th inning stretch. It's going to be Holcroft, Scavato, and Klemp when we return on the WCC. Jake Holcroft leads off the bottom of the 7th inning for the Portland Pilots on an 18-game on-base streak, and here he gets a single, the second one of the day for Holcroft, and the leadoff man is aboard for Portland. It's the 4th time it's happened today in 7 innings for the Pilots as Evan Scavato now comes to the plate. Scavato 2 for 3, couple of singles and a strikeout. Striked out in the first, or struck out, excuse me, back in the first. Singled in the 3rd and singled in the 5th. Both times, though, he was left on base. Holcroft takes his lead off first. He's about 7 feet off the bag right now. Has a chance to steal the base as Scavato stays away from the sweeping slider. It's 1-0. Scavato, he too also having a career year. Previous high, 34 hits. That was set last season. Check swing. That'll be a strike to even the count at 1-1. He now has 45 hits on the season with his 7 home runs. He's also driven in 37 on the year, which is the most by a Pilot since Cody Hawken did it. Here he takes the ball inside. It's 2-1. That was back in 2019. Scavato was all tournament last year in Stockton, California. Really solidified himself into this lineup over the second half of last year. Now he split time between the infield and the outfield. And this year he's kind of manned third base for the most part. Last year he played a lot of right field, but with the outfielders that they have, he'll play just about anywhere. And that's a strike. Seemed a bit high out of the zone. He's asking where that one was. Respectfully, of course, as Bostwick lets him know. It's now full count, 3-2. And talking with Scavato last week, he said that was probably the most valuable aspect that he could do. He's willing to play anywhere to get some playing time. Throw over to first. Holcroft is back safely. Well, wants to play as much as he can, as many positions as he can. Wants to be known as the guy who can play wherever and is a big positive for this team. Gives his coach flexibility. Another throw over to first that Holcroft is back in safely. Again, the full count on Scavato. Seems like everybody in this lineup is sort of having a career year hits-wise, average-wise. And Scavato got fooled. I don't think he wanted to go after it right away. Saw that it was going to break, and he ends up with a strikeout. Second one of the day. He's now 2 for 4. And with 1 out, that'll bring up Nick Klemp. And you see that sort of late half-hearted swing as he got fooled on that one. You could say that even goes back to that previous pitch where borderline high out of the zone. That was called a strike by the home plate umpire, John Bostwick. So with 1 out, that brings up Nick Klemp. Holcroft breaks for second. Steck throws, and it takes Brigman off the bag. Holcroft thought about going to third as the ball ends up in center field. And that'll be a stolen base for Jake Holcroft, his 12th of the season. Now in scoring position as Klemp 1 for 3 today with an RBI double. That came in the first inning that actually scored Jake Holcroft, who's on second now. Otherwise, a couple of hard-hit fly balls that took Coleman Brigman all the way to the warning track in center field. Ended up in loud outs. This will probably be Kitchen's last inning of work as he throws to Klemp. Inside, high, lifted into shallow left center field. Brigman will get underneath it. Holcroft fakes like he's going to third. And the third fly out for Klemp leads to the second out of the 7th inning for Portland. Zach Tulia comes to the plate now. 1 for 2 with a walk and a 2-run home run. The 2-run home run came in the first inning. Tulia struck out in the 5th inning to strand Evan Scavato over at first. And a strikeout that he wished he could have back. You could see the disappointment that he had when he struck out last time up. Lays off that pitch that got him last time. It's 1-0. Kitchen at 85 pitches now on the day. Down in the pen is Caden Wooster for Santa Clara. Tolia fouls it off behind us. And that'll make it an even 1-1 count. Nobody leaving the ballpark, and you love to see it. Supporting the Pilots through and through. Not only are the seats filled, you got plenty of people standing on the concourse down the third baseline, even on the first base side, and all those fans on the right field berm. Big league pop-up here into shallow center field. Brigman calling off Williams, and Brigman will make the catch. And that will retire the Pilots after the pop-out. They strand the runner over at second, and Jake Holcroft. No runs come in to score. It's a 4-1 lead for the Pilots. We head to the eighth. Efren Manzo, Coleman Brigman, and Malcolm Williams come to the dish next on the WCC Network. Nick Brink's career day is over as he got through 7 innings of work, striking out 9 on 7 hits and only 1 earned run. But Jacob Dobmeyer now takes over, making his 19th appearance on the season. Dobmeyer holds a 3-2 record with a 3.82 ERA. 7 saves, which leads the West Coast Conference. He's thrown 30 2/3 innings this year, giving up 29 hits, 13 earned runs, and almost a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, 19 strikeouts to 10 walks. Opponents are hitting .254 against him this season. Talking with Coach Lambert on Tuesday before the game against Oregon State, where Peter Allegro actually got the start, they said that Allegro will probably be moving into that closer role here late in the season. Dobmeyer now shifting from the closer into the setup man. First man he's going to face, though, is Efren Manzo. Manzo 1 for 3 today, an RBI single in the 5th. Otherwise, he grounded out to Scavato in the 3rd and struck out in the 1st. One of those 9 victims of Nick Brink. First pitch from Dobmeyer. Check swing. They appeal down to the first base umpire, Tyler Schmidt. It's 1-0, saying Manzo did not go around. Manzo, well, a balanced stance, I should say, in the right-handed batter's box. This time it is a strike on the off-speed from Dobmeyer, 1-1. Manzo fouls it off and out of play to our right. Dobmeyer, redshirt sophomore from Toledo, Oregon. Went to Newport High School, actually transferred into the University of Portland from UC San Diego. And he's been a nice addition for the Pilots, especially over the last season plus. Last year with a couple injuries for the Pilots bullpen, Dobmeyer is able to break through in the bullpen this year. The 2-2 delivery to Manzo. Ground ball off the end of the bat towards Sukata at second. Gets it on the up hop. And there's one away here in the 8th.
Center fielder, number 3, Coleman.
Coleman Brigman now comes to the plate. Brigman is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. He was 3 of those 9 that Brink got. Scavato creeps in at 3rd as the first pitch from Dobmeyer. Looked just inside off the plate. It'll be 1-0. Ball down the right field line and tailing foul onto the berm, and I think a catch was made right there by a fan. I got blocked out by the pole, but it'll be 1-1 after the foul ball. The 1-1. Ripped into left field, and a one-out single as Brigman avoids another strikeout. And that'll bring up Malcolm Williams.
The shortstop, number 8, Malcolm Williams.
Williams is 2 for 3 today, couple of singles and a strikeout. Hasn't been able to get past first base though. He was the first out in a double play in the 4th, and then he was caught stealing back in the 6th. Brigman taking his lead off the bag. He's got 9 stolen bases and 13 attempts as Williams takes a strike here on the first pitch, 0-1. Squaring the bunt, it's Williams. Pulled the bat back, and it was called strike 2. Disappointment in his face right there. Throw over to first, runners back safely. It's 0-2 on Williams with 1 out. Dobmeyer challenges him and strikes him out. 2 gone as Dobmeyer gets his first strikeout of the day. The second strikeout for Williams as Eamon Lance will come to the plate now. Challenged a fastball away, and there's not enough bat to catch up to that one. 2 gone now here in the 8th inning for Santa Clara. Allegro now picking up a ball in the bullpen for Portland. Lance on the day is 0 for 3 as he swings through. Fastball right there from Dobmeyer. Lance struck out in the 2nd, hit into a double play in the 4th, and he actually popped out to the first baseman Tolia back in the 6th inning. There's a look at Allegro warming up. The 0-1, breaking ball. It fooled Lance, but not Bostwick behind the plate, and that goes for a ball, 1-1. Awfully close right there. Good pitch from Dobmeyer. Outfield playing deep for Portland. Can't be more than 10 to 12 feet from the warning track. It's Dobmeyer delivering another close pitch. No call from the home plate umpire. It's now 2-1. Check swing, and it's called a strike anyways. That'll even the count at 2-2. Well, it's a 4-1 lead right now for Portland. They got 3 runs in the 1st inning thanks to an RBI double from Nick Klemp and then a 2-run home run from Zach Tolia. They responded in the 2nd with adding on another run thanks to an RBI single from Jake Sukata. At that point, it was 4-0 as Dobmeyer throws. Just off the plate, Klemp unable to frame it into the zone. Now a full count on Lance. It was the 5th inning when Santa Clara, though, finally got a run across the board after Thomas Ferragero singled in the 5th, the lead off the 5th, and came around to score thanks to an RBI single from Efren Manzo. And that's how we've gotten to our 4-1 lead currently. Dobmeyer with the full count, 2 outs. Runners going. Ground ball underneath the glove of Dobmeyer. Brought in by Sukata, and the throw over to first will end the threat for the Broncos here in the 8th. They've got 3 more outs left to get back into this one as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Coming to the plate for the Pilots, Briley Knight, Henry mentioned Tristan Gomez as they try to add some insurance. We'll be back on the WCC Network. Bottom of the 8th inning here in the series opener between Santa Clara and the Portland Pilots, and what could determine who ends up in second place in the West Coast Conference heading into the West Coast Conference tournament, as Briley Knight stands in there for his 4th appearance against Cole Kitchen. So he gets to start this 8th inning. He was at 86 pitches, now at 87 after that first one tonight. Knight takes the away pitch and fouls it off to our left, out of play. He'll start out 0-2. Kitchen so far through 7 innings, he's given up 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 8 strikeouts to 2 walks. This ball pulled to the right side, fielded by Brigman in shallow right field. The slide from Briley Knight, not in time. And the ground out will be the first out here in the 8th. He already extended that streak to 12 after that double to start off the 6th, but another look at his last play. Brigman had to run a decent way. He was more shading towards the bag at second, and you see that he was out there over at first. As Henry Mensch comes to the plate, he's 1 for 3 today. Couple of strikeouts looking, and a single back in the second where he came around to score thanks to Jake Sukata. Chopper back up the middle. Williams will play it behind the bag at second, and the throw not in time. Mensch runs well down the line. See what he can do multiple times this season, and he has himself an infield single, his 2nd hit of the day. Another look at it. Williams playing towards that 5-hole, had to make a play and had the quick transition from behind the bag at second. But Henry Mensch, like I said, runs well. And now I think we're going to have a pitching change. That's going to end it for Cole Kitchen. As Rusty Filter comes out, he'll take the ball from his pitcher, and we're going to have a pitching change. New arm coming in for the Broncos. We'll be back on the WCC Network. Caden Wooster takes over on the mound. 6'8" freshman from Oakland, California. Wooster is making his 8th appearance on the season, has a 1-0 record with a 3.38 ERA. He's thrown 10 2/3 innings on the season, giving up 11 hits, 4 earned runs, 10 strikeouts to just 1 walk, and opponents are hitting .244 against him. The first thing he does is throw over to first, though. Mensch is safe as Christian Cooney steps to the plate his first time as he takes over in the DH spot for Tristan Gomez. Gomez had gone 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts and a sacrifice bunt as Christian Cooney starts off with a strike. It's 0-1. Cooney, high chopper over to second. Ferragero had to play back on it, and Cooney gets himself an infield single. There's nothing that Ferragero could have done right there because he had to back up on the high chopper. I had to reach at least 20 grounds after he pounded that one into the ground. And the infield single puts 2 on with 1 out here in the 8th. Another look at that last at-bat for Cooney. I mean, the ball leaves the screen right there. That shows you how high that ball got up, and Ferragero knew that he couldn't rush that one, didn't want to cause an errant throw. And so the Pilots get their 11th hit of the day as Jake Sukata steps to the plate. Mensch now stands on second in scoring position. First pitch. Slider inside on Sukata for a strike, 0-1. Sukata's 1 for 2 today, an RBI single in the second. He grounded out to second back in the 4th. And then he reached via the walk back in the 6th, but didn't make it any further than first base. Gets jammed inside. Wooster can't field it cleanly, goes between the wickets. And Sukata has himself over at first, and the bases are now loaded for the Pilots. Looked like there was some funky spin on that one as Sukata got jammed inside. Get another look at it right here. Wooster tried to drop down to a knee and stop it with his body, and it still found its way between his legs. Ben Pataxel now comes to the plate. He's looking to get his first hit of the day. They're counting that one as an error. So Sukata reaches on the error. 3rd time he's reached base today as Pataxel awfully inside on that one as Bostwick calls a strike. He'll start out 0-1. Pataxel so far today, 2 flyouts to right field, struck out looking back in the 4th, and then he lined out the Thomas Ferragero over at 3rd, and was a well-struck ball by him. Evens up the count, laying off the slider. It's 1-1, but Ferragero in the perfect spot. Couldn't ask anything more for Pataxel and in that at-bat. So Mensch on 3rd, Cooney's on 2nd, Sukata's on 1st with the 1-1 count and 1 away. Pataxel fouls this one off. It'll go behind home plate. And it's 1-2. Outfield playing at about their normal depth. Second baseman Dawson Brigman close to the bag at second. Manzo playing just behind Sukata at first as Pataxel hits this one into right field. Mensch will score. Cooney's getting sent home. The throw from O'Hara gets cut off by Manzo, and they still get Cooney out at home. Cooney, I think, ran through the stop sign. Manzo didn't even need to cut off that ball, but it ends up in and out anyways. A run does come in to score on an RBI single for Pataxel as he gets his first hit of the day. It's now 5-1 in favor of Portland after Mensch scores. And now there's 2 away for Jake Holcroft. Big opening on that right side with Dawson Brigman playing close to the bag at second. O'Hara came up firing towards home, and Manzo, I don't think he realized that Cooney was on his way, but makes the heads-up play and gets it to Steck in time. First pitch breaking ball to Holcroft, falls into the zone for a strike. It's 0-1. Holcroft on the day is 2 for 4. A couple of singles. Scored in the first inning. Otherwise, he's flown out to left field twice so far today. This one gets away from Steck. He can't find it. Both runners move up 90 feet. Sukata now over at 3rd. Moving up to second is Pataxel, and both runners now in scoring position for Jake Holcroft. And with the score up 4 runs now for Portland, it takes a save opportunity away from Allegro. Time called by Ben Steck. You think he wants to get on the same page as his pitcher right there, trying to calm down the freshman. Again, Wooster only making his 8th appearance on the season. Ronald Rocky, the left-handed pitcher, freshman from Fresno, California, currently warming up in the bullpen for Santa Clara. Looks like he's more just waiting to come in at this point. It's Holcroft trying to get his 3rd hit of the day. Possibly drive in his 36th, maybe his 37th RBI on the season. 2 outs now. The 1-1 from Wooster. Bounced again. Sukata takes a big secondary, watching that ball get away from Steck. It'll be 2-1. Holcroft hitting .354 on the season. .365 with runners in scoring position. The 2-1. Thought about it. Kept the bat near his shoulder, though, as it dipped down to his feet. 3-1. I think Allegro might be coming in anyways, even though it's not a save opportunity, although Dobmeyer still has his glove on his hand. He's ready to go. The 3-1 to Holcroft. Takes that breaking pitch for a strike. 3-2. Infield playing back. 5-1 lead for Portland. Holcroft fights off the pitch, goes off the top of the netting. Actually, almost goes off the home plate umpire, John Bostwick. So we'll go back to the full count on Holcroft, 3-2. Scavato on deck if Holcroft keeps this inning going. 3-2. Fights it off the end of the bat. This isn't going to be easy for Wooster. Holcroft, second hardest guy to strike out in the conference this season. Only strikes out once every 12.7 at-bats. It was even higher even just a couple weeks ago as he was creeping up towards 14.6 at-bats per strikeout. Can he keep it going with the full count? 2 outs. Wooster delivers, and in the dirt, Holcroft is going to reach via the walk. 3rd time he's reached base today. Now the bases are loaded again. And Scavato has done well at the plate so far today. 2 for 4. Now he did strike out in his last at-bat. And that strikeout, I bet you he would want back as he got fooled on the last pitch from Kitchen. Kind of swung late on it, but here he steps into the box. First time against the freshman Wooster. 5-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Scavato turns on the first pitch inside towards the third base coach's box. It'll be a strike, 0-1. Klemp is on deck if the inning keeps going for Portland. Doesn't hurt to get a few more insurance runs this late. Sukata on third, Pataxel on second, Holcroft on first. Scavato fouls off another one. It's now 0-2. No chase on the pitch that ends up in the left-handed batter's box. 1-2 now on Scavato. This inning started out with a ground out by Briley Knight, then a single by Mensch, a single by Christian Cooney. Sukata reached on an error where a ball went through the legs of Wooster. A single by Pataxel and a walk by Holcroft. Cooney was thrown out at the plate, and Scavato puts one into right field. Sukata scores. Pataxel will be held up at third, and Scavato gets himself an RBI single, his 3rd hit of the day. Pushes the lead to 6-1 now in favor of Portland as Nick Klemp will come to the plate, and Scavato now has himself a team-high 38th RBI. O'Hara has proven that he's not one you want to run on after he threw out Christian Cooney with the help of Efren Manzo, but I don't think Manzo needed to make a play on it. He would have had Cooney at the plate anyways. So 2 outs as Klemp comes to the plate. Klemp is 1 for 4 today. An RBI double in the first and then 3 flyouts to center field. This one in the dirt, blocked by Stack. All runners stay put. Two runs have come in this inning. Pataxel's over at third, Holcroft at second, Scavato now at first. After that RBI single. Klemp wants to cash in again with another hit, bring in a couple more runs. Good eye right there to take ball 2. Klemp with 35 RBI. That ties him with Holcroft for second on the team. 3 behind the man that's over at first right now in Scavato after he just picked up his 38th RBI this season. Most by Portland Pilots since 2019. And Cody Hawken did it. Klemp now ahead in the count 3-0, and Wooster is on the verge of walking in another run. Klemp will probably be taking here, and it's a 4-pitch walk. Gets himself an RBI as well in the process. Now has 36 on the season. That brings in Ben Pataxel from third, and the third run of this inning pushes the score to 7-1. Zach Tolia is 1 for 3 today with a 2-run home run in the first, a walk in the third. Since then, though, he struck out and then he popped out to the second baseman, and Dawson Brigman. First pitch from Wooster, a slider that's in the left-handed batter's box. 5th straight ball from the freshman. It's 1-0. Wooster didn't even start this inning. This is the 7th batter he's facing. He's already thrown 21 pitches. Tolia swings through. Soft pitch right there. It's 1-1. Tolia got the best of Cole Kitchen in the first inning with fastball inside at the belt. And he left a no-doubter over the left field wall. Another breaking ball that gets Tolia. It's 1-2. Tolia is the 9th batter of this inning. Briley Knight, who started this whole inning off, is on deck right now. The 1-2. Tolia, high fly ball. This one might stay in the ballpark. John Bearing at the warning track at the wall, and he makes the catch just in front of the wall. Allowed out for the Pilots, but 3 runs come in to score. And we head to the 9th, a 7-1 lead for the Pilots. It's the bottom of the order for the Broncos. Bearing, Barragero, and Steck all coming to the plate next on the WCC Network. Jacob Dobmeyer comes out for the 9th inning. As the save opportunity no longer in play, as the Pilots put 3 insurance runs up on the board in the bottom of the 8th inning to push this lead to 7-1 as John Bearing comes to the plate for his 4th time today. First time he's facing off against Dobmeyer. He's 0 for 3 with a ground out to short, a ground out to second, and then he also grounded out to Zach Tolia over at first. A defensive change, though, for the Pilots. Ty Saunders now in the game. He takes over at short as Ben Pataxel moves over to second, taking over for Jake Sukata. First pitch from Dobmeyer to Bearing. Slider for a strike, outer half of the plate, 0-1. Kitchen, who went 7 1/3 for Santa Clara, gave up 10 hits, 5 earned runs after that long 8th inning. When Caden Wooster took over, Bearing lays off the pitch that blocked by Klemp. It's 1-1. Bearing hitting .318 coming into today through 41 games. Everyday starter for the Broncos. I think he double hit that one. Fouled it off, though, behind home plate. It's now 1-2, where it bounced off the ground, and then on the backswing of his bat, I think he made contact on it again. We'll go to the 1-2. He did. A rare double hit off the bat right there. The 1-2 from Dobmeyer, already 1 strikeout on the day. Slider that never broke into the right-handed batter's box, makes it a 2-2 count. Bearing pulls this ball foul by a couple inches just before the first base bag rolls all the way into deep right field, where Mensch will toss it over onto the right field berm. Bearing, one hopper, and Ty Saunders makes a diving stop behind the bag at second, but Bearing, the quick feet and a hard 90, gets himself an infield single. Would have been hard for Ty Saunders, but a heck of a defensive effort to save that one from making it to the outfield. The leadoff man is aboard for Santa Clara. Another look. That ball sort of bounced towards him with the rotation of it off the bat, but Bearing easily makes it. So the leadoff man aboard. It brings up Thomas Ferragero, who's 2 for 3 today. Wilsonville, Oregon product from Central Catholic High School has had a nice homecoming. First trip back home as a Santa Clara Bronco. True freshman getting the start today. Had not played since April 23rd against Washington State. Here's the 1-0. Gets a strike right there. Evens the count at 1-1. 2 singles and a run scored for Ferragero. Now has 17 hits on the season. The 1-1. Strike over the black, paints the corner, did Dobmeyer. It's now 1-2. Looks like Saunders could cover the bag. Ferragero, they expect him to pull the ball. Pataxel ready to flip it for a possible double play. The 1-2 delivery. Ferragero, high chopper over to Tolia. Steps on the bag at first. Throw over to second. And they got him! Double play! Saunders applying the tag as Tolia stepped on the bag as it came to him first. Another look. An off-platform throw, and you see right there as Bearing, his feet not on the ground, flush going into the bag. And the tag applied by Saunders, 2 gone. First pitch to Ben Steck inside. It starts him out 1-0. Steck is 0 for 3 today. Ground out to Scavato, a strikeout in the 5th, and then a fly out to Henry Mensch on a deep fly ball. Takes a strike there. It's now 1-1. Still in awe of that last play by Tolia. Had no momentum with his body throwing towards the bag at second, but still had enough on it. Strike 2 on Steck as the Broncos are down to their final strike here in the 9th inning. Klemp can't fold it in. It's now a full count, 3-2. Things have cooled off here at Joe Edsel Field. What was once an 85-degree day, now into the 70s. Steck puts a drive into one, but goes foul onto the right field berm past the bullpen for the Broncos. Currently 76 degrees, still clear skies here though. Beautiful night for some baseball as the fans still inside Joe Edsel Field waiting for the victory. The 3-2 delivery. Strikeout, Dobmeyer hits the deck. And the Pilots win it 7-1 as they take the first game of this series against the Santa Clara Broncos and what should be a pivotal series in the final 2 weekends to determine tournament seeding at the West Coast Conference Tournament. It's a 7-1 victory as the Pilots, 3 runs in the first thanks to a 2-run home run by Tulia and an RBI double from Klemp. Sukata added another one and then a 3-run 8th inning for the Pilots, added some insurance, and Dobmeyer all smiles after taking a spill on the mound, getting that final strikeout. Pilots look to take game 2 and possibly the series tomorrow afternoon with a 3 p.m. first pitch here at Joe Edsel Field. Again, a 7-1 victory for the Pilots today. I'm Brian Slyke. Thanks for tuning in for game 1 of our series, and thank you to the production crew. You guys are the best, and we can't do it without you. Until next time, we'll see you tomorrow afternoon on the WCC Network.